That's what's up.
Oh man, it's
Shout
gonna
out
be a
to
great
Dallas
time.
Cowboys, though, man. They do what they
I
do.
do have a question to pose, and now I saw this on cigar man, what's the book? I was talking about it earlier. Cigar aficionado. And I think we've all thought we gotta get quick serious for a minute. The tariffs, the proposed tariffs on Nicaragua.
Man, it's gonna cut into the nigga pockets, but hey, them sticks gotta move.
Well, I think here it won't be so bad here because the price of cigars is they'll go up, but we'll here in the Dallas area we'll experience what maybe start experiencing what California and New York is experiencing. But I don't think it'll affect us as bad. But places like New York City, California, even Canada, man, a $20 stick's gonna be $55. You know,
is that because y'all closer to the ports?
Man, I really don't know why. I really don't know why. And I've asked the question before, why is it so much cheaper here? But in Texas, anything that has anything to do with vices, they stay away from on taxation. They don't hit them as hard. Liquor, cigars, cigarettes, they don't hit them as hard.
Maybe it's because of mass numbers, and I think that's maybe why Sin chimed off to come back in. But I wanna say it was because something he said a couple months back about the numbers being different in Texas. Maybe was it the ports?
What it is it's the state taxes. The state tax is what kills a lot of these the market when it comes to the cigars and the stuff. They tax the shit out of tobacco, and a lot like California and New York and Canada, like they get taxed crazy on tobacco.
Crazy, man! It's over 50%.
It's insane. Like
it really is.
They try to make their states or their countries with Canada. They try to make it clean to where it's not smoke free. So they try to make it hard for people to buy tobacco. Just like if you look at cigarettes, they went up from like what $12 a carton to like what $75, $80. $75,
yeah, they're way up there. Yeah,
they're high.
Yeah.
So it's state taxes. It's killing it. In Texas, we don't have state taxes. So we have the ability to get stuff at a very lower rate than most people.
Right.
So
hey, well, let me say this. I'm gonna say this just like I say with the electric car. You remember back in the day when this? I'm showing my age now. Back in the day, the tobacco business and the cigar business was booming, and the same shit that's going on now that happened back then. And Charleston used to be a booming cigar industry. We had a big, like 2 big cigar factories out there. All right. When they started that stuff, one of them closed down, the other one stayed open. And matter of fact, last year where we had Hollywood had one event, was it last year or the year before? He had one event downtown at the old bus station. They used to be part of the cigar factory. So I'm gonna say this right here. Even though they're doing all this taxing and then tariff and all that on the tobacco, just like it was back then, it's still going to come through the window. Everything is still going to be fine. Everything that's they
but
doing
you know what?
Not going to stop anything.
It's not going to stop the train because these were here before we got here and be here well after we were here. Thing about it is, the money that's coming in for tobacco is insane right now. There's a lot more people smoking cigars than cigarettes these days, which is a lot more healthier for them because it's straight. There's no chemicals involved in this.
Right.
It's just straight pure leaf.
Right. Just like they tried to bring in the e-cigarette and all that stuff to try to knock down the cigar industry. I mean the tobacco.
It was the flavored cigars that they tried attacking.
Yeah.
They thought it was the same thing as those e-cigarettes.
They were successful on flavored cigars in a lot of places, and so like I think I'll say this, not a plug for the CRA, but this is the reason why we got to start becoming more knowledgeable about this thing that we spend our money on, because man, they really are, and it's a war within the tobacco industry.
Mm-hmm.
You got the cigarette industry, companies like Philip Morris, as big as they are, that are really attacking the cigar industry because it's taken away from everything that they've dominated. You look at North Carolina, South Carolina; these are tobacco states.
Yeah.
You know that are now, excuse me, starting to feel it. They're starting to feel the influence of the cigar culture. You know, and it's something. But I talked to somebody some years ago in the cigar industry, and he told me this. He said, it's ebbs and flows. It's been ebbs and flows since the 20s with cigars and cigarettes, with prohibition and stuff like that. And all of that stuff played a role in the war. Even though prohibition was about alcohol, all of it played a role. And it was Fuente. I was talking to Carlito one day, and we got into this conversation about, I was asking him about his grandfather when he started Arturo Fuente, right? And we got to talking about how in the 20s they started in Florida doing their thing. Their two major markets they sold to was Miami and New York, and then Chicago a little bit. As it evolved over time, they lost because of a lot of the rules and things and laws that were coming down because of the cigarette industry, that part of the tobacco industry. They lost it all. Fuente went out of business, and his grandfather had to go to Minneapolis and start working in the field to make money to restart the company. And they went through several changes like that, right there in Tampa. They went through several changes like that. And so I think when you look at it today, this tariff thing is just another thing that we're going to have to deal with as this culture evolves. And it's going to be interesting. It's really going to come back to us as the consumer on whether our industry survives or not. It really is. And so I think we got to start getting with organizations like PCA, more CRA than PCA, to really start learning and understanding what we're doing, especially for guys like you, Sid, that have brands of your own, and Jamon with Definition. You guys have to be in tune with what's going on and be ahead of the game as these things are coming down. I learned last year that the Congressional Black Caucus does a lot of work with the cigar industry. And every year, PCA does a thing with the Congressional Black Caucus in Baltimore. Every year. Like, there's so many things that are going on that we don't know about, that we got to start educating ourselves about if we want to remain and enjoy this. And for those of us that make money from this are going to be successful, we got to get in on the ground floor. I think a lot of us are at least 5 to 10 years behind because we don't know what's happening.
But here's the deal.
That part.
The cigar industry, since, because, back in the day, it wasn't a lot of us doing cigars. You always see the white guys, the Italians and all that stuff doing the cigars. But just like Cadillac back in the day, what brought Cadillac back? Us.
We did. Yeah, I just seen that video the other day. Today, matter of fact.
Right. And now that we're in the forefront of the cigar industry, we're gonna make this thing flourish just like how we made Cadillac come back and become a booming thing. Like we were saying earlier, when we get into something, we meaning black people, when we get into something, we bring these stuff back in for everybody to understand and know about. We hold everything. We hold all the backing of all the industries that's out there. The vehicle industry, the drink industry, the tobacco industry. We bring the money to all this stuff. We make all these places survive because it's all because of us. You know what I'm saying? So with the stuff that's going on now with the tobacco industry, we're going to make this stuff continue to flourish. We don't know how to fall back and say, oh, we don't know how to handle it. We can handle anything that comes about, anything. Right. So I ain't worried about this stuff. It's going to survive just like we made everything else survive.
Yeah. And I think one of the things we have to remember, though, I agree with you there. One of the things we have to remember is that we are the foundation of the cigar industry.
Right.
Women of color have been the foundation of the cigar industry since its inception. Let's leave that right there. So a lot of times I hear people say black women are the fastest growing segment in the cigar community. That is true. But they always been there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things that gets me when they start to say that. Women of color have always been there when it came to blending, the harvesting, and all of that. They are, okay,
And
they worked in
rolling.
the field. Yeah, and the rollers. It was women that did that.
Women were rolling the cigars in their thighs back in the day.
Yeah.
Back in the day, yep.
Yeah, look at some of the most desirable cigars, the Marifales and some of those. What is their tobacco? Cameroon.
Yep.
Think about it. When you think about it, those are the things they don't talk about. You hear them talk about Nicaraguan, Honduran, but hell, Cameroon is the one that they pay for.
There you go.
I mean, think about it. That's the one that they pay for. That's your $60 cigar.
Right.
That's your $60 cigar. It ain't Connecticut. It ain't, all of it's Cameroon tobacco. There's a reason why. There's a reason why you got companies that corner the market in Africa to get tobacco, because they've always been doing that.
Talk to them, baby. Talk to them.
They've always been doing that, and it's just like history today. A lot of times, man, and I'm not saying that the tobacco industry does it, but just industries as a whole, when it comes to us and our contributions and what we bring to the table, we don't want to have those conversations. We want to have the conversations that say white people discovered white people. I'm not being racist when I say that, but it's true.
Right.
It's true.
And here's the deal. That's why this platform right here is people who are tuning in that didn't know the history behind about this industry. They're learning it right now.
Right.
For this platform to be on air right now, you got some people that, they're in the culture, but they didn't know the culture.
They're in the community, not the culture.
Right. Well, okay, right. So
they're in the community. You know?
And for the information that we're giving, for a lot of people who don't understand, now they understand. You know what I'm saying? Now they understand because we're giving them the information. If this platform right here, Red Cup Wednesday, wasn't on tonight, for the people who viewing, they wouldn't know nothing about what we're talking about. Now they do.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying?
So for people to understand this too, like the actual attack, and I'm glad y'all kept saying tobacco industry, right? The attack on the tobacco industry is basically for cigarettes.
That's what it's all about.
Cigars are just caught
in the it's caught in the net.
In the
caught in the net of it. It's actually for cigarettes, right? And then they come out with the e-cigarettes and all this type of stuff. That's still not working, right? Cigars are the only thing that tells you not to inhale it and do different things like that.
Right.
That you can still be comfortable and have a good time. So the cigars are actually, like you said, they caught up in the net. And if you go back, to the history of it, something that I seen is, cigars was actually like a male thing, right?
Yeah.
Cigarettes, they was pushing actually, it was like a female-based marketing, right? So the guy from Duke University, that he was like the third richest white person in the nation, right? He created the cigars. I can't remember the name of them, but he promoted Duke University, and so that's where that come from. But he was doing cigars initially, right?
Wow.
He was at a factory one day. The guys come out, they smoking cigarettes. He like, why y'all smoking cigarettes? Right? He said, because we got a 15-minute break. We can't smoke cigars. So his marketing strategy changed, to cigarettes because they could smoke them faster.
Right.
Had it not been the case, the cigar industry would look a lot different now. But for him to move into cigarettes just because they could smoke them faster on their break, then dudes didn't want to smoke them. And so that's how the cigarette industry became a lot bigger, because they smoke faster than cigars. Not that they was better, but I can do it quicker. You know what I mean?
And its evolution, they began to make it more addictive.
Right.
With more nicotine, more products,
more chemicals.
You look at e-cigs. E-cigs was a way to tap into a new market of young smokers. That's what that was all about. It was about the convenience of smoking. It was about the look of smoking and the not having the smell and because the newer people didn't want to, the younger people didn't want to stand out there, around the ashtray on a cold day by the door. They could hear the e-cig right there at the desk, with the internet crowd when they was coming in,
Right.
And so, it's just one of the things. Go ahead, Ken.
So I was on the boat with one of the guys I was smoking with. I sat at a table with him, and started having a cigar. And it turns out he used to work for Department of Agriculture, USDA. So he worked there for 36 years in the tobacco department. And so what he was telling me was that, there's a few cigarette companies that use straight tobacco, no additives, no none of that chemical shit, just straight tobacco. And it baffled me because I didn't know that cigarettes actually did the same thing that cigars do, where they have blenders that make their blend straight off of tobacco, not off of any chemicals or nothing, just straight tobacco. And it baffled me because I never knew that. I thought that most cigarettes were just based off of, just stuffing some shit into a little filler with a filter at the end of it and smoking it. But they actually have blends that they go through the same process as cigars do, where they dry the tobacco out, wait for a couple weeks, then put their blend together and then put in the cigarette. Right. So, it opened my eyes to a lot of things that, the culture doesn't know about. Because, he even told me about a job that they have, with the government, that these guys, all they do is grade tobacco. And everybody in the world comes to the United States with these 5 people that know every cigar, every tobacco leaf that's ever been made. Yeah. And they grade it.
Wow.
5 people in the world are in the U.S. They know every grade of tobacco there is. And they grade all of it, from premium to, hey, you just picked the shit off the ground somewhere. Yep. But it was just random that I happened to sit at the table with this guy, as a cigar brand owner, and getting this knowledge from somebody I've never met in my life before.
Yep.
Now, but it was just,
that wasn't by coincidence, then.
It wasn't.
To caveat off of that, when I went to Cuba, I learned a lot when I went there. I went to two of the factories out there in Cuba, and I learned that the nicotine that's in the cigarettes, when they get the tobacco leaf, they devein all the tobacco leaf, and that's the nicotine that they're taking out, and they put in this big barrel. There's a bunch of barrels around us, and I'm going to ask the question. I'm like, okay, when y'all do that deveining of the tobacco leaf, what is that? And the lady that was taking us around to give us the knowledge about it, she was like, those veins that we take out, that's the nicotine that we use to put in cigarettes.
Wow.
So that gave me a knowledge. I'm like, okay, because people used to always tell me about smoking cigars, gonna do this and do that. I'm like, look, I said, all the cigar smokers that I know, talking about my cousin, my uncle, and my granddad, all these people who smoke cigars, they have lived to be the ages of 98 to 100 years old. Look at George Burns. George Burns smoked cigars and lived to be 108 years old. Yep. And he smoked cigars every day. He smoked
all day, every day.
Yeah, he smoked more cigars than Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan smoked 6 cigars a day. When he's golfing, he'll go up to 10. So I'm like, George Burns smoked more cigars than Michael Jordan smoked. And so for me to see that about them deveining, there go Justin right there. For him
what up, Jay Bug?
What up, Jay Bug?
For me to learn that they devein the nicotine out of the cigars, and for somebody to tell me that I'm gonna have this problem, that problem for smoking cigars, I always tell them, look at George Burns, look at Bill Cosby, look at all the people who smoke cigars, look at the age they're living to be. So don't tell me anything bad about cigars. You can't tell me
I don't think I've ever read a story about a person that smoked cigars all these years and we started talking about lung cancer.
Right. No.
If you think about it, how many stories have y'all, and as you're saying that, I'm going, how many stories have I read about somebody that smoked cigars all their life and they had lung cancer? There was a guy I seen, if you remember, right here in Dallas on Channel 8 a couple of years ago. He died last year. He was like 105 years old, an old black guy in South Dallas, off of 175. They did a big story on him. His biggest thing, he smoked cigars religiously all day. He didn't have cancer.
Right.
He didn't have any type of lung issues. Nothing.
No
Perfect
comorbid.
health. When he
Yeah,
died, he died of natural causes last year.
Right.
I mean, because you're getting
Natural
a
causes.
pure leaf. You're getting leaves. You're not getting none of that chemical stuff, all them words and names you can't pronounce added to fucking cigars to make them addictive.
Right.
Because you ask anybody that smokes cigars, ain't nobody addicted to fucking cigars. We smoke them because we want to.
They're
From
addicted to
birth.
the experience.
They're addicted to the experience, but they're
Addicted
not
to the
addicted to
experience, you know
cigars.
what I'm saying?
I've never heard anybody saying that, man, I gotta have a cigar. I gotta have a cigar. Oh my God, I gotta have a cigar. Start hitting that smoky, like, I gotta smoke some shit. No, you never hear that. We smoke them because we want to and we enjoy them.
We
Routine.
say we want one. We don't say
And we
gotta have
enjoy
it.
the experience. We don't gotta have it.
Right.
I've never been to a cigar event or been to a lounge where somebody's in there fiending for a fucking cigar unless they just ain't smoked in God knows how long because they were probably sick or whatnot. But we don't fiend for cigars. We choose to do this. This is a choice.
Yep.
And we all make it on our own accord. Ain't nobody
Hey,
putting the
look.
gun to our head saying, "Hey, we got to smoke a cigar."
Hey, my mom gonna come in because her uncle was the one that I turned to start me smoking cigars. So this
What's up,
my
moms?
Hey, moms.
Hey, Mom.
I just smoke cigars.
Yeah, with his Uncle Francis.
That's who started me smoking cigars, and he lived to be of an older age. So I'm like, look, if they can live, and they've been smoking cigars from them. I've been smoking cigars for over 30 years right now. So if they can smoke cigars and they live to be that ripe age of 98 to 100 years old, don't tell me I need to stop. Don't tell me.
You make a point, man. I got 3 humidors full of cigars. I think I'm gonna smoke 5 of them a day going forward. just because your mama came over here and said it.
He said, it's all right, baby. You can smoke.
Smoke, baby. Smoke, baby.
Yeah,
It's
baby.
okay. Blow that smoke, baby.
Oh shit!
And as long as I've been smoking, I swear I've never just been like, I gotta smoke. I just gotta smoke.
Right. Ain't like I gotta smoke. I can
Never. And
I'm gonna tell y'all this right here. This is no lie. When I went to my doctor and I had get my tests and stuff like that, and he was like, man, your oxygen level in your lungs are good. He's like, I got a friend. This is my doctor told me. He's like, I got a friend. He asked me how long I've been smoking. I told him, I was like, I don't smoke cigarettes. I smoke cigars. He's like, I got a friend that's 10 years younger than you, and he has so much tar in his lungs that it's ridiculous. He's like, for you to say you've been smoking cigars for over 30 years, you have some great lungs. So I'm like, why everybody gonna be talking to me about
your favorite lungs?
There you go.
What cigars? What did he say the guy smoked?
Cigarettes.
The guy smoked cigarettes. He said on occasion, because my doctor, he's Cuban, but he was in he's in the army and stuff like that. He said the guy smoked cigars every now and then, but the main thing he smoked was cigarettes all the time. And he was like, you to be smoking cigars and your lungs are so good, I'm not gonna tell you need to stop. Your lungs are good, your oxygen level is great. So I'm like, okay, so and I got some friends and family members, every time they see me smoking, they like to put on my page, about COPD. And I was like, look, if you ain't got nothing positive to say about me on my doggone page,
delete them.
Right.
Tim tired, y'all. He's sleepy.
And to your point, I'm doing this challenge right now where I'm walking 70. I'm supposed to run and walk 75 miles in a month, right? So what I do is I'm up to 37 miles already, and it's 20. We started on the 6th of October. I'm on 37 miles, but I walk and smoke half the time.
Oh, that's what's
right.
Like I walked and smoked last night. I did 7 miles and smoked 2.5 cigars.
There you go.
On 7 miles.
When I ride my bike
to Detroit, bring my cigars when you get here.
When I ride my
shit.
Walk all the way there. Fuck it.
When I ride my bike, when I ride my stationary bike in my room, I go in after I done smoked the cigar, and I do 5 to 10 miles.
Right.
So don't tell me I'm gonna be this and I'm gonna be that. If you don't know and you don't understand, don't come at me.
Yeah. Don't listen to that negativity, Edward. You're fine.
I don't.
Got it.